Yes, people. Welcome back to another stream. It is a heavy-hitting one, given the fact that it's more of the same 115 Man City charges kind of stuff that we keep seeing here and there. There's a few like little bits of new news that's in there. We've seen Stefan today on TalkSport as well, giving it big. And so I thought, again, it's another time to just have a conversation about it, open-ended as well, so the chat can all get involved and stuff like that, and then we can all speak about it. Before we get into it though, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and if you're watching this back on a replay, let us know your comments below about everything discussed on today's show. Yes, Hugh.
Yes. I missed the main, I suppose, breakings of information about the latest on this topic. I've been in London the last few days doing some filming for Big Six, and I was in London on the streets and that, and there's one or two guys came up to me and they were like, "Yeah, you're going to be found guilty. You're going to be found guilty." Blah blah blah. They must watch the Big Six or City Xtra, and I was like, "Why? why are we going to be found guilty? Like, what do you know about it?" Because I've maintained a lot. Look, I hate this topic, people. I really hate this topic. There's 107 people in the building, and I think all of you, if you watched this channel before and us talk about this, you know, I hate this topic because I've never claimed to be a lawyer. I've never claimed to be a financial expert. I've never claimed to be a legal expert either. But unfortunately, as our football club has been dealt with the situation, we've had to learn on the job. We've had to learn about what's going on as it's happened. Now, obviously, the latest development is what basically what is the latest development other than media now saying there's going to be developments? It's obviously all as a result of Forest and Everton. It's all as a result of Forest and Everton. Obviously, Forest and Everton having their issues and breaching FFP over the years they did so has resulted in more pressure being put on the Premier League and the independent whatever's to speed up the process with Manchester City. Look, off the bat, on a human being level, all I see is hope and desperation. I see a massive amount of hope and desperation from people who are praying to see the downfall of Manchester City Football Club. And all this hope and desperation usually is coming from people who haven't a fucking clue what's going on. Because if I don't, you don't. I'm hoping we're innocent. You're hoping we're guilty. That's the way I view it.
Yeah. Well, the latest thing that's to actually come out was from Richard Masters. He's come out and he's said that there'll be basically news. My headset internet's going down a sec. There'll be news next week on the case, which is probably one of the first like big times we've heard news like be announced about this, or for a while anyway. So there's going to be developments next week involving this. Now that really doesn't tell us anything. It doesn't tell us they're any close to this finishing. The latest rumor of when this will all come to a head that I seen was November 2024. So November this year is where that's whereabouts we'll see this finish. So it could be this year that we see the end of the 115 charges, the case of this, and we'll get a result on this. But honestly, at this moment in time, I don't know. And my personal opinion is, and I said this last night on the Big Steve show, my personal opinion is we don't have a reason to not trust the club, and the club are telling us they have irrefutable evidence. They have irrefutable evidence is very key in that. And if you watch TalkSport today, Stefan on TalkSport as well, it's SLBSN on Twitter. If you don't follow him, go follow him because he's very good. He's a financial expert. He used to work for Manchester City for quite a while. Appreciate it, man. So he basically said that it's going to be very hard for an independent body to find Manchester City guilty in this case. So he believes that it'll be completely clear. It would be completely cleared of this 115 charge thing.
There's nothing new about our case has come out. There's nothing new has come out. This is all media driven.
You'd think there was.
You think there was?
If you just turned up and just went, oh, look at all this news that's popping off. Why is it getting talked about so much? Something must have happened. When in reality, nothing much has happened. All that's happened is Richard Masters comes out and says there'll be developments next week, and then everyone's like, yep, they're guilty again. And it's stirring the pot again, basically.
There's nothing new has come out. It's off the back of Nottingham Forest and Everton getting their own issues handed to them, that the pressure is being piled on Manchester City, and more. It's media driven. So there's more and more media. Mass media knows exactly what the mass public wants to see. The mass public, the larger part of the footballing public, wants to see Manchester City get done. They want to see Manchester City get sanctioned to the highest order. They want to see Manchester City feel pain, have their title stripped, everything's tainted. You're a fake club built on cheating, etc., etc., etc. That's what everybody wants to see. So if you're a member of a mass media organization and you're making content for thousands and millions, you know what headlines you need to make. You know what conversations you need to have. You know what stuff people want to hear. You know that if you say, yeah, it doesn't look good for Manchester City, in my opinion, they're going to be in a lot of trouble, in my opinion, and everything they've done up to now is all tainted, yada, yada, yada. You know you're appealing to the masses. You know you're appealing to the larger part of people who listen to you. Now, this has meant I've seen a lot of people on my timeline, City fans, panicking. I'm getting messages on Instagram being like, yo, I think we're in trouble, man. I think we're fucked. I'm going, why? What's come out? Send me what's come out. What new has come out? And look, it's forced me a little bit to go and try and read into it and try to wrap my head around what's going on. And look, if you look at what most people who aren't involved in the situation at all, first of all, the people who are involved in the situation, both parties, the Premier League and Manchester City, neither of them are commenting publicly. Neither of them are giving us any comments, anything to work off. It's all being kept watertight. So what's there to work off there? What is there to work off there? But what we're being accused of is essentially fraud. It's nothing to do with FFP. Everyone's telling us it's FFP, financial fair play. It's not financial fair play. What we are being accused of is like money laundering type things, financial fraud, putting money or getting money from places that aren't credible and putting them into the club, overpaying for this, that, and the other, and not putting on the account sheet exactly how much you paid for this, that, and the other, like Mancini's contract. They're going to find it extremely hard to prove. First of all, fraud should be dealt in a legal, in an actual court of law. It should not be dealt with like this. If we're going to be dealt with the way people want, it should be in a court of law. But they're going to find it extremely hard to prove these things. Why? Because there's so many individuals involved. I find it really hard to really hard to imagine how the well-established businessmen of the highest order in the world who are running our football club, your Caldoons, the accountants, the executives, are all involved in this one conspiracy and have all fucked up and have all collectively decided to cheat. Whatever about one person on the board maybe making one big decision that's cost us everything, That's one thing. But no, for this magnitude of issues to arise, it has to be a collective. There has to be third parties agreeing to cheat and be naughty. There has to be Manchester City agreeing to be naughty. There has to be companies who have allegedly invested agreeing to be naughty. I don't see this many people, accountants, agents, executives, board members, companies, all agreeing to cheat. And how are you going to prove this? How are you going to prove this as well? I don't see this many people fucked up. Khaldoon Al Mubarak, the chairman of our football club, outside of his Manchester City working life, he's an extremely established businessman, with investments all over the place. Many companies he started up and grown to a very high level. Yeah, before he was ever with Manchester City, he was doing all this. And to my knowledge, from what I've looked into about Khaldoon, just him, he's never had any major issues. He's never had any issues regarding, financial dealings or fraudulent financial dealings. So why would he, with all his expertise and knowledge, come to Manchester City and go, you know what? We're going to cook the books. We're going to do everything illegally, knowing that someday we'll probably get caught for it and ruin everything we've started. I just don't see it. Now, my next point, which is the biggest point of all, is that City maintain their innocent. City maintain their innocent. With this much pressure on us, with this much hot water on us, for City to continue to maintain their innocence is a massive, massive thing. If City felt for 1 second that we are going to get done, we are going to get caught, we're kind of fucked here, it's not within our interest to still maintain innocence. It's not within our interest to still push through this and say we can't wait to prove our innocence. Because it just gets even worse. If we thought we were going to get done, we'd be saying, we should probably speed this up and just take our punishment. You know what I'm saying? Our days are numbered here. It just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me.
Well, if you do that, you're just going to get caught in a lie. You're just digging yourself deeper. You're going to get caught in a lie that it's going to bite you on the ass when you end of it. Unless they're running it as that they're just trying to get away with it, basically, which I don't believe that they are. I feel like the club statement, which they brought out obviously time ago now, last February, they're saying irrefutable evidence in that we have that, and they're looking forward to this being put to bed once and for all, so City can finally clear the name, because the Premier League and full sent this, and it's something that's been stuck with us for a long time now, and it's something that I believe the club and what they've said, because we have no other reason to. When you're saying before about the amount of people that are involved, it isn't just Manchester City. It's not just us that are involved in this. You've got other companies like Etisalat out there. They're fully in the mix of it. Obviously, Etihad, they're fully in the mix of it. There's all these different companies that are involved in this, which are also then being accused of all of this. So it's not just all the shit's being thrown at Manchester City. You're questioning every single one of all those other people, all those other companies, everything that's going on within that. There's so much to it, and that's why Stefan today on TalkSport was like, it's going to be so difficult for the Premier League to find us guilty of what we've done, what they say we've done. It's going to be so difficult.
You're questioning the integrity of much more than just Manchester City Football Club, which I think the wider population don't realise. When they talk about City's 115 and this magic number 115 that everyone's hoping comes down to bite us in the arse, you're not just talking about Manchester City. You're talking about Etisalat, like you said. You're talking about government bodies. You're talking about members of parliaments in other countries. You're talking about people in that top 1% of society in terms of economics and financial dealings that know what they're doing far more than me and you could ever dream of, anybody in the chat could ever dream of, or any Tom, Dick and Harry in the pub who tells you we're guilty. You're questioning the integrity of a lot of people. And listen, Richard, what's his name? Is it Masters? Yeah. Him coming out and saying, what was it? It's because of the nature and the volume of the charges involving Manchester City is the reason this process has been so slow and the reason this process is very watertight. No, I think there's the side of this whole thing people aren't looking at is the Premier League fucking up. The Premier League fucking up and City pulling down the Premier League's trousers and making them look like a pack of dickheads. People aren't looking at that. Why has this process taken so long? My gut feeling is the Premier League might be able to sting us for non-cooperation. They might be able to sting us for one or two other things. But the big things, the fraudulent stuff that they're trying to sting us for, I feel they fucked up. I think they've messed up along the way somewhere, and that's why this has come. Look, They're saying developments are happening. We haven't had a date set. If you were so hell bent you're going to be able to catch Manchester City and you hit them for 115, we know a lot more about it by now. I really do. It's just, it reeks. It reeks. It's watertight. And they're allowing this circus to continue. They're allowing this big wheel to spin where there's constant hate and negativity on Manchester City Football Club. And we're just sitting here going, we welcome it. We can't wait. We got lower panic. We got our legal team. We've got irrefutable evidence. We can't wait to clear our name. Why would we say we can't wait to clear our name if there's any chance we're guilty? If you know in your heart of heart, bro, if you know in your heart of heart that you fucked up along the way doing something, yeah, and the revenue are on your arse, and you're like, no, I'm innocent, but it gets hot, and you go, you know what, I've actually fucked up a little bit. You're gonna go and be like, all right, listen, let's bring this to a conclusion. Yeah, I've made a few mistakes. Yeah, we're a bit guilty. Let's try and just give me my punishment, man. You know what I'm saying? Give me my let's put us out of our misery. Nah. City are saying, we welcome this. We can't wait to clear our name. If we're found guilty of 115 charges after saying we have irrefutable evidence, we welcome the case, we can't wait to clear our name, everybody involved is done. Their reputations, their businesses, that's Manchester City and outside Manchester City are done, finished. That many people, this many organizations and corporations do not put themselves on the line like this. They don't.
Mm-hmm. It's massive. It's massive. Guy just dips and goes for a piss. Guy said a full speech and was like, "Yep, I'm out." Yes, Russ Davies, mate, with a 5. Big up, Russ. He says, unfortunately, regardless of the outcome, the masses will view us as guilty. Media coverage has been scandalous and damaged our club for generations. That's fact, and it's just something that City are going to have to deal with. Look at the UEFA case. And Mike drop, yeah, advertising. Look at the UEFA case. That one, mate. We still at this point get called guilty for that because of we got fined. Was it like 10 mil or something like that? Because we were guilty of not cooperating, not guilty of the actual charges of why they kicked us out. It was the non-cooperation side of it, which is what we were found guilty of. And they still go on at us as if like we did all this shit and we paid off people. Like it's just. That's the way it is now. Where the reputation has been tarnished. It's defamation of the football club and our image. But it's too late. It's too late to go back on that because they've gone all out. They've gone all out. All City can basically do is prove himself not guilty and just get on with it. Because even if we're found not guilty, all you're gonna do is see people say, we paid everyone off, etc., etc. You're just going to get a re-up of that.
We can't.
There's no winning situation really for City. All City can do is prove himself not guilty. That isn't a win for City because if City prove himself not guilty, they'll be looking at it going, well, we shouldn't have had to go through all this anyway. And the negative impact that it's had on the football club's image is massive. So it's just going to be you just got to deal with it. And yeah, Spider Monkey there says time will heal.
Guys, do us a massive favor, guys. There's 420 in the building. Please hit the like button. Massively helps. Let's try and get up to 300 likes rapid. Keep getting your thoughts in the comment section about what's going on. We're going to keep talking about it, but please hit the like button. It's free to do, and subscribe if you're new around here.
Big up to Pillup as well with a 2. Says even if we're found innocent, people will complain. Yeah, that's just like what Russ was saying there. It's the same thing, man. It's the same thing. But if we're found not guilty as City fans, we can look at it and go, yeah, is what it is, mate. Like the people can say what they want as long as we know we trusted our board and we're found not guilty. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with it. People can say what they want. Like it ain't gonna affect me. We can keep winning things. I mean, we'll keep winning our trophies. You can say whatever you want.
There's a lot of meaty clubs out there, meaty football clubs, meaty people out there who are praying on this situation to go tits up for Manchester City. I've read about Leeds United Football Club saying that they're watching this case very carefully. They're watching this situation very carefully because they believe that should City get found guilty of what they should be found guilty of, they're entitled to compensation as they received, or they got relegation as a result of Manchester City being as strong as they were throughout this period. Do you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people I
don't see that happening. Yeah.
No,
there's a lot of other games that people think they can get away with in that, and none of that's going to happen. I don't think not. Like Stefan said, if City found guilty, it'll be relegation. If City
No,
found
if
guilty of all
City are
these charges,
found
it'll be
guilty of
relegation.
everything if City are found guilty of everything that people want us to be guilty of, we'll be out of the football league. This is no 10-point deduction. This is no run-of-the-mill transfer ban. This is criminal stuff, which is why it mind boggles me why it's gone to an independent body and it's being kept within the kind of footballing world. This should be a legal case. This should be a criminal case. This is fraud we're talking about. There's too many cracks and crevices to this that don't add up for me. I'm no expert, but I'm doing my best to look at it objectively, and I just don't see how they can be successful in. Look, right now they're saying, "Oh, it's gathering evidence period. We're gathering evidence." If you press 115 charges on us, you should have meticulously looked at every single one of these charges, and you know where you have to go to get the evidence to prove these charges. You don't slam down 115 charges off the back of a feeling or a notion, or we think they might have done this. No, you slammed these charges on us. You've accused us of this, that, and the other. You should know where to gather this evidence from. So why is it taking so long to gather this evidence? We said we have our irrefutable evidence. You should be able to get your evidence quicker and speed this process up. No, I think they fucked up somewhere along the way. I'm convinced. I'm really, really convinced.
Well, it's a case that's going to take its time because neither side will want to rush it. City won't want it to be a rushed case. The Premier League, obviously, it's an independent body now, isn't it? But the Premier League won't want it to be a rush case either, just in case things get overlooked and it doesn't go the way that you want it to. This will change things forever. If City are found not guilty here, this will change the Premier League, man. This will change because they're accusing of us all of this shit, and if none of it's fucking true, it's wild. It is wild accusations to be made.
The rest of the Premier League needs Manchester City to be found guilty, because if City are found innocent of this and City have proved the Premier League wrong in all of their charges, the independent body has to come in. The independent regulator has to come in and start doing these clubs' jobs for them. All of a sudden, the clubs can't regulate themselves. All of a sudden, the clubs can't get the Premier League bias. All of a sudden, the clubs aren't put under that same microscope. So anybody else who may have some issues, any of these big clubs who spend more than they should or who have fraudulent dealings of their own, all of a sudden their pants are down and they're going to be exposed in the future as well. If City are found guilty, normality resumes. The monopoly continues. The bad boys have been shut down.
It is insane. It is insane if we are found guilty. And it might be interesting to see on the other side of it what City would do in that case, like what City's action plan. Do you remember when Calhoun was basically said like people shouldn't throw stones in glass houses, basically.
He knows, bro. He knows.
Yeah.
He knows, bro. Like I said at the top of the stream, Calhoun is one of the best, most established, successful businessmen in the world. You're talking about Abu Dhabi here. Abu Dhabi, one of the wealthiest countries in the world, with some of the top businessmen in the world who know world economics better than any of us. He knows what's going on in the Premier League. He knows what these clubs are up to, and he knows why these clubs want to see the back of us so badly to save their own arses. All this bullshit of we want the integrity of the Premier League back. City have ruined the Premier League, and we can't win trophies because of Premier League. That's all a front. No, behind all that, it's yeah. We want that, but fucking hell, we can't get caught either. We can't get found out for our wrongdoings. No effing way.
Dan Rowe at 18 months. Big up Dan, mate. He says, going back to how tarnished our name is now, could we get some sort of compensation for defamation? I'm not sure. I think City they should try. Whether or not they do, the City might take the approach of let's build bridges now. Now that this is over, let's build bridges. Like if City found not guilty, kind of like we UEFA. We had the thing we UEFA kicked us out. We did try and like sort things out. I think one of the first things Caldoon and Fran and them, they got on a call with the UEFA execs and just try to basically sort things out straight away with them and get on a good side of things. City might try that same thing with the Premier League instead of going the other way and going, right, we're coming for you now. Now that you've sent for us, we're going to send for you. But I don't know, innit? I'm not in a place to speak. We should really be going after them for defamation because this is, You've basically called us the biggest cheats that could be possible.
Yeah. No
You,
bridges.
you,
No bridges.
yeah. So
No bridges. No,
it
no, no.
depends on
If
the
you're
way
going
that
to try
City
and
run the
make
football club.
if you're going to try and make the biggest story possibly in sporting history regarding financial dealings out of us, I ain't building any bridges with you when we beat you. I believe City will beat the Premier League. I believe we'll be found innocent. I back my club. I have no reason not to believe what my club say. If they say we have irrefutable evidence, I have no reason to doubt that. I back them. I believe them. They barely put a foot wrong other than the Super League issue since they came to this club. I back them. I trust them. If you're going to try and challenge the integrity of our club and everything we've built, and then we go and beat you, you all of a sudden go, right, let's be friends. Let's build bridges. No. We're gonna fucking rinse you for trying to ruin the image of our football club. That's what we should absolutely pull their pants down and push them into the river, because that is absolutely ridiculous. No bridges to be built.
Super City there says we cannot go for defamation against the governing body, only the newspapers, etc.
Yeah, all of them. Go for all of them. I don't mean the Premier League specifically. I mean everybody that tried to tarnish our reputation. All the medias, all the massive media outlets, all the big personalities that tried to slam the hammer down prematurely and find us guilty without knowing a fucking thing. Send for all of them. Trying to ruin our football club.
Personally, from my side, yeah. LB, Stephen says our owners wouldn't do that. I agree there with that side of it. I don't think City'd go down that route. I think City would much rather try settle the waters straight away. I think that's the way that we'd run it. Settle the water. Yeah, that's what I meant. Super City. Settle the waters straight away and get it sorted, as opposed to creating more legal battles and things like that. I don't think City'd run it like that. But yes, Dan Rowe, anyway, for the 18 months. Appreciate the super chat. Rose with a super sticker. Yes, Rose. Appreciate the super sticker. End the stream, Dave, with a £2. Says, if City weren't successful, no one would have bothered. Exactly. That's a very, very, very good point that a lot of people do make. And AK, yes, AK, bro. The 5 says, like I told LB and Martin the other day, I will survive relegation. I'm worried about titles being stripped.
None of that's going to happen.
I don't think titles being stripped is the thing. I don't think we're going to get found guilty. So of course I don't think titles being stripped. But regardless, I don't think titles are going to get stripped. There's so much. It complicates so much if they started stripping titles, and then, do you know what I mean? Then, like you say, you'll get teams like saying, like, well, that position there that City have taken in that Champions League, well, if City hadn't been in there, we would have got that position, which means we would have got this amount of money had we been in there. Do you know what I mean? There's basically a knock-on effect, which I don't think they're gonna want.
I don't think we go down. I don't think we get found guilty. And look, titles being stripped. Look, on a totally devil's advocate side to everything I'm saying, if we were to be found guilty and they go, you're being sent down to the National League or the Vanarama, whatever it's called, and we're taking all your titles off us, I don't care. Like, all this titles being stripped is just to appeal to, it's just to try and compensate to the people who feel they've been hard done by. You cannot take away what we have seen with our own eyes. You cannot take away the amazing football, the best manager in the world, all the trophies we've seen. For the match-going fans, you can't take away what those match-going fans and myself have seen. I've been in the stadium when the trophies have been lifted. I've been in the stadium when we scored big goals. I've been in the stadium. I've been there. You've all seen it on TV. If you watch it on TV, you can't take away what we felt in that moment. What's behind my eyes and in my brain, you can't take off me. You can strip them on paper, but I will still die knowing I saw City lift the Champions League. I will still die knowing I saw City win, 7 Premier Leagues. You can't change that. So don't worry about the papers and the records will say our titles have been stripped and Liverpool now have 3 more, whatever. Who fucking cares? We went there. We won them. You saw them. You felt, to all the Liverpool fans and Arsenal fans, whoever, who feel they've suffered off the hands of us, you felt the pain. I felt the win. You taking it off me 5 years later isn't going to change anything.
It doesn't fix things. You know what I mean? That's
doesn't fix it. It doesn't give you that amazing moment. It doesn't give you your Aguero moment. It doesn't give you your Gundogan moment. You were still the loser of that campaign, and we were still the winners. But we won't be found guilty. They won't strip anything, and they won't send us down.
For people who haven't seen it, by the way, I'm going to put a YouTube link in the chat here for you. Go watch that later. That's Stefan, who was on TalkSport today. It's a very, very, very good video to watch. And if you watch that, if you can just block out Simon Jordan, which you have to do a lot of the time when you're watching TalkSport, if you can try and just block out Simon Jordan, who keeps interrupting him, you get a lot of Stefan's good points through, and you'll be very confident with us if you go and watch that, because he makes very good points. He was City's financial expert pre Sheikh Mansour. So that's a good thing to go and watch if you do want like more in-depth information from someone who's legit. He does keep interrupting. Stefan. Simon John has a cracking podcast. I've actually heard about. A lot of people actually listen to Simon John and rate him. I've never listened to him on other things. And he's just, I find him rude in that interview, definitely, because he's just talking over Stefan all the time, which is grim. So the news, like I say, for people that are just joining now, if you are just joining, please do us a favor, hit the like button, subscribe channel if you are new. The news that we have only is that there is going to be some developments next week. Now, I don't even know if that means that these are going to be publicly announced developments. Is this that they're going to... Is this just... There's just developments next week on the charges, and then they're going to tell us? I don't know.
The developments, in my opinion, will just be a date. There'll be a date set that people will put in their calendars and say, this is the time to go grab your lube and get excited. I don't see any major development coming out next week regarding how we should feel, or whether it's ominous or whether it's positive. Yeah.
The thing for me though is this, right? This is, as this case goes on and develops, right? And if they're still, as it gets nearer the head of when the final date will be, yeah, they're gonna get, say City, from our side, that we believe City are completely not guilty. As we get close to that date and more stuff's coming out, it's going to be more and more of, yeah, we're not found guilty. We're not found guilty of this. Do you know what I mean? It's going to be, the Premier League are going to be sweating on that. At what point do the Premier League then try and turn it around? Like, basically, not try and turn it around the case, but I mean, like, try and step back a little bit from this. Do you know what I mean? Try and ease it off, because to just go all out all the way till that date and then just to be found, yeah, City found not guilty, that's horrendous for the Premier League.
They're going to have to drip feed
it. The Premier League at some point start to relax it and be like more open to change and more open to City being found not guilty? Like, because at the moment the only statement we have from the Premier League is that it's full on Man City are guilty, because they're the ones that have found us guilty. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if I make sense by saying that.
No, I fully get what you're saying, and I think it'll be the case. I think the worst thing the Premier League could imagine is the hammer gets slammed down, and it's a one moment thing. That one moment in time, City are innocent. The papers all go crazy. Every YouTube channel goes live. Everyone in the world knows at this moment, this one moment, City are found innocent. They won't allow that. They'll have to drip feed it. It'll be a slow process where they're not found guilty of this, and the Premier League have relaxed their stance on that, and the Premier League retract this, and yada yada yada. That's all pending it goes our way, which I believe it absolutely will. They can't have a situation. They won't have a situation. They won't have a D-Day where it's like City have won, the Premier League have lost. A final result.
Yeah,
it's done.
No,
they won't have. They can't. Because at that point, we have just destroyed the Premier League and the integrity of everything they have.
Yeah.
How do you legislate for that? You don't.
It's good to see that a City's stance was basically just remained the same in all this as well. Just pointing people back to their original statement of irrefutable evidence.
City's ongoing stance that should allow us to feel innocent. Like, look, whatever about when the charges first landed on our door, for us to go, no, we're innocent, out of almost like emotion, just to quickly say we're innocent and get the fans on side. You would have thought if there was a hint of guilt there, we'd start to drip feed out what I'm talking about. Maybe we've gone wrong here, or we've slipped up here. The whole line, we're nearly, it's 11 months nearly since we got these charges. The whole time, anything we've ever heard about how City feel about this and their stance is we're innocent. They don't do that. if there's any room for slip up. These
Mm-hmm.
guys do not do that if there's any room for slip up. I don't think
I
they've
agree.
slipped up.
I agree. Yes, William Dittmer. Yes, mates. With a 50, he says it took a hacker to find 10 years of wrongdoing. What does that say about the Premier League? I can't wait to drink rival fans' tears. Come on, City. Come on. Rate that. Absolutely rate that, mate. And that's the thing, man. The clear air when City found not guilty in this will be incredible. As well as the opposite way, it'll be absolute carnage. But from my stance has not changed at all from I trust in our club and our board because they've never given me a reason not to.
Martin's just sent a super chat there. Martin,
It's
if
just
you're
Martin, mate.
available, Martin, I'm gonna send you the link for this stream, the StreamYard. If you're available, join us because I know Jordan has to dip in a sec, but I want to keep talking about it, and I want to get some more opinions. Martin, I'm sending the link to this chat, to this stream, the StreamYard into the CX Panel Show group chat on WhatsApp. Click on that and join us.
Imagine you accidentally sent it in here, in the actual chat.
Yeah.
That'd be funny. That'd be carnage. Just like bare heads getting in it. I mean, to be fair, if there's any financial experts out there that you want to join us on the show and talk about it, then you know what I mean. Get on it. Get involved, man. Pill up again with a 2. Big up, mate. It says League 2 would be pretty fun, to be honest. Now, there's a lot, right? There's a lot of City fans that are with me on this. And if we get relegated to League 2, fuck it. Let's do it all again. Bro, if we're found guilty, bro, and get relegated, as fans, there is absolutely nothing we can do about that. The club's board has shagged us and lied to us. Nothing we can do about it. Let's go straight to the beginning. Let's do it all again. Do you know what I mean? It's just another page in the book that is Manchester City. Like, bro, I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
I don't think a lot of these fans of other clubs who are preying on our downfall understand the way we operate. The whole "we're not really here" thing. It's not a gimmick. It's almost like we're here. We're doing our thing. We're smashing it, and we're very carefree. We're very nonchalant. We're very carefree in the process of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, send us down to League 2. Like I've already said a few minutes ago, we've already seen everything. We've completed football. We've ticked every single box you can tick. Loyal matchday fans, loyal fans, even new fans who have joined as we've been successful, will still follow Manchester City down to League 2. They'll still follow Manchester City anywhere. I don't think that's going to be the case. For anybody out there who's really panicking about being kicked out of the Premier League and being embarrassed, this, that, the other, I don't think that's going to happen. But I was like, look, where's this one? Chat's moving rapid. Chat, make sure you've hit the like button, people. Nearly 500 in the building. Hit the like button. Hugh Matchday Vlogs at Oldham Away. You best believe.
Best believe that's going on.
If we were to be sent to any league, you best believe I'm doing Matchday Vlogs, home and away. And there'll still be 50,000 City fans in the Etihad because City have the best fans in the world. And we don't get anywhere near the appreciation that we deserve. We don't. We have the best fans in the world, I believe. The ROA fans are special. The community we have, you see the same faces week in, week out. You get to know people. You become like a family. You become like a family. The people I've met, the friends I've made along the way, through City Extra, through going to games, way before I made content. It's a special, special place. And no charges, no sanctions are going to change that. I believe
that. Top of League has got a good analogy. He says, if I write an email to say I'm murdering Jordan, thanks, mate. If I write an email to say I'm murdering Jordan on Sunday, then Jordan turns up murdered on Sunday, did I do it? And that's the same conclusion the panel found on the hacked emails.
Yes. Luke, MCFC lads, bro, do you want to hop on with Martin? I can send you the link.
Yes, Luke, mate. Also, we need to put Luke in the panel show chat as well.
Yeah, we do, man. We do.
Yes, Luke, mate. Section 20 says, I've supported City through the 80s and 90s. Bring it on, boys. I can take anything. Yes, mate. Yes. Carl says, rip Jordan. Yeah. Rip me.
Have I got Luke on WhatsApp? I do.
I think I've got him as well.
Lads, I don't know if you're available or not, but I've sent you the link. If you want to hop on, join us. Jordan has to dip in a sec. Martin's going to join us. And he's making burgers. Lads is making burgers.
Man's making burgers out here. Who does he think he is making burgers at this time?
It's all right,
There's
lads.
things to be spoken about, lads. This city needs you.
We will still win a Premier League title before United if relegated. Look, if we're to be relegated and we're to be found guilty of everything, the chances are everybody involved in the issue have to leave. Everybody involved. If we fucked up, I don't believe we have. If we're guilty, anybody involved in making us guilty and all the issues spoken about probably have to leave. So the whole structure of the club inside will have to change. Think that's fair to say?
Yeah, bro. It'll be stripped completely. They'd have to change.
I don't know about new ownership. I don't know.
No, not. Then again, yeah, it'd be all the board would get sacked. All the board would get sacked. Obviously, Caldoon would be gone. Because there's no way you could, as fans, if we were guilty of everything, how would we then trust that board to do right after what they've told us so far? For them to come out and say they got irrefutable evidence and that. It's a massive lie to tell the fans and keep fans basically on a string until guilty.
If we're guilty, Caldoon's gone. Caldoon's gone. And anybody he operates with on a day-to-day basis are gone. Because it's bad. It's bad. I don't think we're guilty. I think Caldoon's going to be here. I think we're going to continue to win trophies. I think we're going to continue to destroy football. And I believe a lot of this is just a massive plot to stop City destroying football. But once again, on the devil's avocado side of things, that if we were to be found guilty, the whole club has to get stripped. I don't know where Sheikh Mansour comes into this. I don't know what involvement Sheikh Mansour would have in breaching any rules, regulations.
It'd be. I don't know how he'd stay. I don't know how. I don't think he would stay. I don't think he would stay. I just can't. I can't see it being a thing because.
Neither can I.
Do you know what I mean?
He's employed. He's employed the people who
it's bottom to top, man. It's bottom to top. I don't see it.
The club would have to go for sale. We have to sell the club.
Yeah.
Imagine that. I have to sell the club. How crazy that would be, bro.
Big up William Dittmer. Yes, again, bro. He says if we're found guilty, just to clarify my last super chat. Yeah, drink the Royal fans' tears if we are found guilty. Yeah, I get it, William, mate. I appreciate your super chat.
Big up William, man. Big up William.
The pressure that yes with a 5 says the only thing murdered was the fabric used to make JP's Antarctica away coat kit. That deserves to have charges pressed. Yeah, that's carrying its own 115 charges, that coat, mate. I get a new charge every time I wear it. Yes, Pie, mate, with a 5. And yes, Q Tom with a 2 says, would this affect the City Football Group, though? I'm not sure how
would it affect
how
everything?
far it'd ring through the City Football Club or City Football Group, sorry.
It would affect everything, bro. It would affect everything. Everything we've built. It would affect absolutely everything. And it would be.
It'd certainly put everything into question.
Yeah, it would.
Because obviously at the moment it is just solely Manchester City. They'd start to question everything. Then they'd be looking right. There could be more here, which isn't great.
The link to Martin on WhatsApp. I don't know. Has he seen it in the group yet?
Yeah, of course.
Martin, whenever you're ready, join, mate. Jordan's gonna dip, but I wanna keep talking about it, and I want the chat to keep getting involved. Guys, make sure you hit the like button. Massively helps. 500 odd people in the building. Do hit the like button and subscribe if you're new around here. Darsh has a good point here. People forget that the UK heavily relies on investment from Abu Dhabi. If you're going to start questioning the integrity and taking down people who are really high up and really important in Abu Dhabi, there's relationships there that'll be tarnished and tarnished for good. So people don't talk about that enough. And it's a good point. You're talking about damaging a relationship between the UK and Abu Dhabi.
There's a whole political side of it, which obviously is hard to really go into too much, but there is a whole that side of it which is wild and could have a big say in the way that this goes.
Here he is, the wise old owl.
Yeah, these glasses are not because I'm a wise old owl now.
You look wiser.
I'm not taking that.
Right, boys, I'm going to dip. My headset's going to die as well at the same time. So big up to Martin, big up to everyone in the chat. Appreciate everyone. And I'll see you in a bit, boys.
See you in a bit. Welcome, Martin, to the stream, guys. We're going to keep chatting about it for a while. Very massive thank you to Martin from the Mancunian Way for joining us. I'm going to put a link to Martin's channel in the chat now in a sec. Do make sure you go over and subscribe to Martin. Have you hit 3K yet, Martin?
Yeah, hit it today. Massive thank you.
Congratulations.
On to 4 and 5 now.
Yep. We can make it happen. Martin, where do you stand with all this? It's obviously crazy. Nothing has really come out, but there's constant pressure building.
I'm totally calm. I know you're going to think that's cliche, and I'm taking a minute. I'm not. I've been calm from day one with this, because what they charged City with is not the same as Everton and Nottingham Forest. I know that's the way the mainstream media has construed it, and you hear it. I don't care what some 15-year-old in the back end of Liverpool is saying. They know nothing about it. You know, that doesn't bother me. But what's Stefan put it perfectly today, and I think Stefan's one of the few you should listen to. Or, like, you know, when Nobbins has said it, it's such a complex situation what the charges with, because all anyone ever sees is 115. That's it. And it was never FFP. It's basically, like Stefan said, the accused is basically fraud.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it isn't just City, by the way, they've got to prove that with now. They'll have to go back to the auditing company we use. Was it KPIG or whatever it is? And they're going to have to go to Etihad, Salat, all these other companies that they're going to have to prove. That, by the way, UEFA couldn't prove. So all this garbage about time barring, page 78 of the Cascade says this. Salat and Etihad was totally fine. It was all above board. KPMG and Delight, thank you, that was it. And everything else was above board. It says it in cash. UEFA found that.
Mm-hmm.
So unless the Premier League have got some form of different evidence that UEFA and CAS could not find, which I don't think they've got. I don't think they've got a smoking gun somewhere. I really don't. They haven't got it. I don't know. You know, I don't believe these YouTubers who think they've seen all the emails. No, you haven't. It's just, to me, I think I said it on one of these shows weeks ago and on mine. It's up there with the JFK assassination and the moon landing, where you're going with conspiracy theorists. This is a conspiracy theorist dream. Do you know how many people you're going to have to say have lied and corrupted themselves and perjured themselves and everything else? And I'm no financial expert in this, because I'm not a financial guy, but I've researched it for a very, very long time. Read cash from back to front, which I know rivals don't do. I don't expect them to. I don't read about Arsenal's finances. Why should I expect them to read ours? But, I mean, from day one, they put the original statement out and messed that up.
Mm-hmm.
This is City, where City may, you know, it's like today, you know, I have a good friend, Simon Jordan, who kept butting in every 30 seconds because the guy he was like a kid at Christmas. Did you see him with his smirking and his smiling? It was like, come on. The worst thing they ever did is put TalkSport on YouTube.
I know.
I could just about comprehend him on the radio.
Stefan did a really good job, though. Stefan did a really good job, level-headed.
Yeah, Stefan was absolutely top-notch. It's like tonight, all the headlines, City to be relegated. That wasn't what was said. He said, if we get found guilty, we will likely get relegated. Are we just ignoring the other 10 minutes? So, and this is what's happening. The mainstream media are doing what they've been good at for many years and twisting and talking about things that they know nothing about. And that's where people are getting giddy. It's nothing to do with the amount of money we've spent in transfers and all this. Don't know where it never was. I don't know where they've all got it from. They basically said to City, you had a bunch of fraud people. So good luck trying to prove that, because UEFA, who, by the way, are much bigger than the Premier League, couldn't prove it.
It's just the sheer volume of people involved. I really struggle to see how they're going to prove these things, how they're going to question the integrity and prove the integrity of all the people involved, all the accountants, all the executives, all the board members, all the third parties, all the different bodies involved. I think they've bit off far more than they can chew, and this is adding to why the process is actually being so slow. Because City's stance all along has been we're innocent, we have irrefutable evidence, we welcome the case, we're looking forward to prove our innocence. It doesn't seem like we're staggering the process. It seems that the other side, the Premier League, are staggering the process.
How does it? Why would it take an argument? Now, listen, I know there's a lot of things to go through, but if there was a smoking gun, if there was something tangible, if there was something there within this case, you'd jump all over it. But I don't know. And there's the other thing. If it is, because it is fraud, what they basically told us on, and Mancini and all that. Like Mancini said, not one law enforcement person has been to see me. You're basically accusing him of tax fraud and money laundering and everything else on Mancini. But you never heard about the Mancini side. It's like the 115. It's like 60 cases on point one. Then point two gets what? Is it 20? I mean, I haven't got the full numbers in front of me, but I've written them all down. And that's where you get the 115. But people think it's 115 failures of financial fair play, which is why you hear, well, Everton got a 10-point deduction for one. No, they're not the same. Well, why are you comparing it? Comparing an apple to an onion. They're not the same. It's not even an apple to an orange. It's an apple to an onion. Completely different.
It's to put it blunt and simple. It's Everton being done for overspending, and it's City being done for fraud. They're two totally different allegations.
Someone being done for stealing a loaf of bread, and someone being done for first-degree murder. They don't get dealt with the same way.
No.
It's not hard. I don't know why people are making this so hard to understand. And the thing is, what's so sad about it, because the mainstream media have done all this, City will always be guilty outside of Manchester City and the fan base.
Well, that's a point me and Jordan were making, is we actually can't win here. We can win legally, but we can't win in the eyes of the public, and we can't win in the eyes of those who don't want us to win, which is that should we win legally, it's, well, you paid them off or you didn't cooperate and, brown paper bag. And then if we don't win and we're found guilty, it's where, there you go, you're guilty. There's actually no way City can fully clear their name, and there's just one narrative driven. There's going to be, whatever outcome is to come out of this, there'll be narrative spin-offs left, right, and centre.
Of course. Of course they will, and City know this. City know this. Caldoun doesn't sit in an interview and go, people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. What, is he just throwing that out there because he wants to do it? And then you hear about the government stuff, and it's conspiracy theory after conspiracy theory. I used to watch a show years ago with the former wrestler Jesse Ventura on it, conspiracy theorists. City going to be on there in 10 years, this whole case. That's what it'll be on. We'll be talking about this like the moon landing. Did it really happen? Did it happen? We're still arguing 50 years down the line, 70 years down the line on whether the moon landing happened.
And who was first there?
Yeah, it's like, come on. Use a bit of common sense. Don't deflect your failures onto Manchester City because your clubs run crap. Sorry, don't deflect. We are the best in every department from top to bottom, including behind the scenes. Don't deflect because your club is bad and cannot do what, and by the way, can do what we're doing. We didn't get Julian Alvarez and wrap him up in a little ball and go, no one can have him. We're not the only, we shouldn't be the only women's football team with its own stadium and now its own sponsorship. You can all go and do that. By the way, like I said, we're still getting new sponsors while all this is going on.
That's the big one.
Failing business here, isn't it? Failing business.
That's the big one. that's the big one that baffles me as to why people don't pay attention to it. is that how are cities still operating as well as they are now, day to day, commercially, economically, every way off the football pitch? Why is anybody willing to deal with Manchester City if there's a sense that there's guilt on the horizon? If the future is ominous for City, how are we still managing to commercially thrive? It doesn't make sense. There's too many people who know what they're doing here, involved in it. I just don't see a world where they've all messed up. I
And
mean,
by the
like I
way,
said,
we're not talking we're not talking a million where, or even half a mil. We're not talking chump change on sponsorships. We're talking big brands, big companies that will have their own, background checks and everything else. Because you don't just go into a sponsorship blind. You don't just go up and go, right here, I'll give you all this money. And because they're not stupid, they'll do background checks. The last things, they'll speak to their own legal departments. This is what
bro,
this is not out of a Kinder egg. It's like, I feel like I'm dealing with Kinder egg football sometimes.
It
baffles me.
even the things that are close to home for us, which is the simple things like our shirt sponsors, Puma, who are still with us. They haven't terminated their contract with us. If you think for a second that Puma and the head honchos of Puma haven't gone to their legal team and said, look, is it within our interest to stick with Manchester City and keep this relationship with Manchester City going? You're wrong. You're naive. Anybody associated with us from the period in question and this period will all be asking questions to their hierarchies, all be trying to figure out where they stand, how their reputations could be damaged, and how their image is going to come out, or going to look like coming out of this. It doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense.
No. And the thing is, I'll go back to it. Nobbins talked about it on his video ages ago. Stefan's talked about it today, talked about another podcast. The people who are actually properly lawyers don't mean YouTube lawyers or Twitter lawyers or people who've got have got their law degree out of a box of cereal. I'm talking about proper people who've got know far more than us. Simple fact is they're both sung off the same hymn sheet. This is fraud, dishonesty, and perjury. What they basically accused us of. Good luck proving that. Because it isn't just Manchester City, City Salat, Etihad, which got proven at CAS of being separate entities. Got proven at CAS. It's on page 78 of CAS. I beg any rival watching this, please do a little bit of research and go and read it. It was proven at CAS. So I don't know what they're trying to achieve. I know what they're trying to achieve. I know who's pushed it. Because you just read everywhere. You know where it's come from. And you know what they're trying to get out of it. I'm sorry. And the thing that hurts me, yes, United were hated. United were despised, but never like this. They never wanted to ruin United. They never. I don't remember other Premier League clubs trying to absolutely end Manchester United. There's a lot of hate and vindictiveness going into this.
Jealousy.
And like Pep said, we'll never forget.
I know. It's a huge amount of jealousy involved. Look, a point that I think is really relevant is it's the independent regulator that many clubs are really terrified of coming in and exposing other clubs for their own wrongdoings. So their futures, their stable futures, all hinges on the outcome of Manchester City's case. Like, they don't want this independent regulator coming in and going through and auditing every single club and their last 10 years or however far they want to go back and finding all the wrongdoings going on there. So they need City to be found guilty. They need to prove that the current system and the current regulators work and that it's effective and that FFP is
it's coming in anyway. I mean, just listen to Masters and Parry the other day. The government are going to put this in whether they like it or not. You go back to the King's speech in, was it November? And he said, this is coming in. It was always coming in. This was just, and that's why the term kicking it into the long grass came from. And then Richard Masters never said that. And 4 separate people said to him, you made that comment. So 4 people have all heard the comment. They're all wrong. But he was right. No, this was all a delay tactic. And I think he's used City a little bit in this delay tactic. No coincidence that City's charges came out the day of the so-called white paper.
Well, trying to explain that a little bit because Darsh was asking to explain a bit about the white paper.
From what I understand, like I said, I'm no financial expert or anything, it's just research, is basically the Premier League regulate themselves. The Premier League is a 20 members club. So basically, if anyone's a member of a golf club, you sign up to a golf club, or in my, to show my age now, an old-time working men's club, you sign up to rules and regulations that you have to follow, and you have to, thinking else. That's what the Premier League is, basically. Private members club that all 20 clubs will vote, the majority vote. They'll vote each. What I read, they vote twice, one at the end of the season, one sort of mid-season, unless they all get called together, which is where, like Saudi rules, the Saudi third-party loan they all were doing a few weeks back. That went to a vote. Now, the idea is there was, again, this could be a conspiracy theory. This is me talking. But United, David Gill, all them were all on the chief exec board. David Gill was in charge of United at the time. Which, conflict of interest, maybe. But you've got to get a majority vote, 14 votes, people have said. And if you don't get the votes, the motion doesn't get carried, it doesn't get put through the new rules, which is why, the VAR, the one that UEFA use, it went to the Premier League. The club said no.
The semi-automated one.
Yeah, there's too much of this blaming the Premier League. Blame your clubs. So what they've all done is they basically voted, and the white paper was an independent regulator. Whether I'm not sure if it was from the government or wherever, was going to come in, and the Premier League was going to be regulated from an outside source that had no interest at all within the Premier League. So the clubs don't get as much say anymore. It becomes, and the independent regulator will check on whether the rules are being done properly, being upheld properly. They will make decisions, from what I understood, on cases. So like this, they'll choose the panels, all that sort of thing. And also there'll be rules put in. I know the Super League was a big one, where they're going to ban anyone leaving the Super League or going to the Super League. It's basically to stop a child being in charge of their own sweet shop. If children were in charge of a sweet shop, they'd eat all the stuff.
Makes sense.
Somebody else is going to be in charge of that sweet shop now.
Makes
the
sense.
children are going to stop running amok within the sweet shop. And that's what they don't like, because they're going to lose power. I don't know if that's like, I'm trying to put it in the simplest way I understood it.
No, makes sense. Makes sense. William here, Wrexham away is going to be fire. Can't wait. You ever been Wrexham away, Martin?
I did Colchester. I'm doing Tottenham away. Can't wait for that one next week.
It's your first away in a while, isn't it? You've got the chance to go.
No, I did Newcastle a few weeks back.
Did you?
In the cup. Yeah, I did Newcastle in the cup.
Oh, very good, very good. Yeah, Tottenham will be a good one. We'll do a show
Can't
before
wait
that
for
and get
that.
your thoughts.
By the way, with no fans, but sold that out in 24 hours.
Yeah, no people sold out 9K in 24 hours. Makes sense. A lot of finger pointing. Just take accountability from Jarhead. Big up for the super chats, people. Make sure you've smashed the like button. And I want to talk about this one, Martin. What does life look like after the case? So, in my opinion, City are going to be found innocent. What do you think life looks like then?
Stefan made a point. I think you'll never see the Premier League the same again. I think, how do I put it? I'm trying to think. Because, by the way, this is the last time they'll come at City. This is it now.
This is the last chance. The last chance.
Yeah,
They're taking
it's their only
chance.
chance now. How would it look? I think a lot of you'll see a lot of old school teams, as I like to call them, the Red Cartel, lose a lot of influence. The white paper will come in. The Premier League will be no longer self-regulated. It will be independently regulated from the outside, and we'll see a fairer, more competitive Premier League for me. Because I do think there's got to be some rules. You can't have the Wild West. If you end up with the Wild West, you will end up with bankrupt clubs. But you've got to have some rules. They've gone A to Z. But the Premier League, I think it'll be much better. I'm looking forward to it. I really am, because I will find this a positive. I think if City get done, which, by the way, I don't believe they will, and say we got, and by the way, I don't think we'll be relegated. The words they'll use will be expelled or expulsion. I think the Premier League will do its doom, because you are just going to allow the kids to run riot. And United, Arsenal, Tottenham, Liverpool, whoever will just run the show forever. That's the end for Newcastle as well, by the way. They won't be allowed into the party. They'll be out completely. So this is, Stefan put it so well today. I cannot, honestly, if you've not seen that, go back and watch it. It was absolutely bang on the money when Simon Jordan wasn't interrupting. If we win, best day ever. We lose, Premier League is just over. It'll be Monopoly. Over. It's kind of Monopoly now. I said this, that's why I did that show, Turkey's voting for Christmas. None of them even realised what they were voting for. That's how thick some of them are. They never realised what they were voting for.
With FFP?
Yeah, never realised it. I know that's a separate issue. City are fine with FFP and we'll be fine for FFP forever. So I don't know what they were trying to. FFP was never going to hurt City.
No, but it was definitely going to hurt the Forest and the Evertons of this world, who haven't been able to spend off the back of FFP. Do you think the FFP structure changes if we're to be found innocent?
I think it changes either way. Or I think there'll be a tweak. Not sure about this squad size to squad valuation rule. That again just seems a backward way of still monopolizing it, because your squad's going to be bigger. Other people's squads are going to be bigger value and bigger worth than other people's squads, aren't they? What do you do if a team gets promoted? That's like, who's down in the Championship now who are not huge? And I don't like using that word, because that was another thing I didn't like, that calling Everton and Forest small. Forest have won 2 European Cups.
Yeah.
You're sat there calling them a small little club.
Nah.
I'm sorry. And Everton have got a rich history. I'm not having that rubbish, by the way. That was crap. That was a cheap shot. But I'm trying to think someone in the Championship who's really not like you. I'm trying to think. Rotherham. Say Rotherham come up. What's their squad size going to be worth? Value worth?
Fuck all.
So is that fair to compare that then to United's, Newcastle, City's, Tottenham's, and everyone else? So the rule is still monopolising. What they should have done was, the thing that's shocking about FFP, the £105 million loss doesn't account for the inflation. That's a stat that was still there 10 years ago. A loaf of bread is not the same as a cost of a loaf of bread is not what it was 10 years ago. So transfers have gone up, wages have gone up, agents' fees have gone up, cost of running the club has gone up, but the FFP line hasn't gone anywhere. Well, of course, everyone's going to fail. Someone's always going to fail then, because you're not moving it with inflation.
You're not giving any leeway. There's no room for manoeuvre.
Like Everton got charged for the first 2 years. Of course, we're going to get charged for the third year. It's a 3-year rolling situation. They're always going to fail the third year. So they were always going back to, it's like, what? I don't know where they were going with it. It's not, I don't get it. It baffles me. Forest, again, what did they spend? 25, 30 players they bought?
Mm-hmm.
They've gambled and it hasn't worked. Same as Everton, it's 550 million. And they finished 17th. Look at your own club a little bit. That's another thing. Get me. Why are club owners getting away with this? Out of all I've seen for 3 days is no one having a go at Everton or Forest's owners. How have they got away with it? But our owners are the sitting devil incarnate. I don't get it.
Are Everton and Forest fans not angry at their own owners?
Not really. They're blaming us. I'm blaming the Premier League. How is it our fault? We don't run the books for Everton. We don't say to Everton, go and spend this money. Oh, it baffles me.
It's one of those ones. But look, the fact that we have to do these shows off the back of literally no development, it's just that we have to talk about these things when the whole world is talking the other way. You know what I mean? We have to be able to come on and defend our club. Like Martin clearly knows a lot more about it than me. I don't.
No, well,
don't really.
In there. I'm talking about the new rule. I'm talking about Craig, not the one now. The one now, FSR, or he called it PSR. Some call it FSR, some call it PSR, profit and sustainability, and some call it financial sustainability. That's on your turnover, everything what you spend. So you turn over your club. I haven't fully read into what that squad thing is to coming in. They were even talking about, by the way, putting that alongside FSR. So running it sort of comparable with each other. So I don't know what Masters is doing. But Masters is really baffling at the moment.
Who says there'll be developments next week? What do you think those developments will be?
I don't know.
Date?
No. I don't think they'll ever give a date.
You think we'll just find out someday what the outcome is?
I think you'll find out what the outcome is. You won't find out the date they're hearing.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think you'll ever find out the date they're hearing. Because remember, it's not a court. It's an independent panel. We didn't know when Everton were being heard. What they'll do, they'll give you a broad spectrum of it will be heard from between now and the end of the season. For example, it could be heard tomorrow, and you just never know. So, like the Cass case was a court case, court of attribution of sport. So you got a date for that. With this one, it's an independent panel done behind closed doors, basically.
It's quite scary that we'll just wake up Sunday.
Just my opinion, I don't think you'll hear anything about it until a outcome is probably heard. So do you remember, like the night before the Cass case was heard, everyone started leaking out what they'd heard and they'd been told. That's when you'll start getting it. Because imagine leaking what date it is. People would be finding out where it is. They'd be outside with pickets and signs and all sorts.
We'd have to go out and live stream. We'd have to go there.
You wouldn't be doing playing watch. You'd be doing court watch. Going in with our own lawyers.
I never signed up for that, man. I ain't doing no court watch. But I definitely look.
There's a question for you on his quick one. I mean, if someone's put it in the chat, and I've thought this for a while, I think it might have already been done at some stage.
What, the verdict is done?
No, I think they've already sat down and discussed some of it. I do.
Why?
Because if they've got to go through all these documents, if it's took them years to go, because listen, there's loads and loads of statements. How many days? They're not going to get that done in a day or two.
No.
How many days is that going to take to sit down and go through 10, 11 years worth of accounts?
It has almost been a year since the charges arrived as well.
I mean, it might take 6 months to sit down. I don't know. It's the difference is nothing. This is unprecedented situation we're in. No one's been here before. It's not a court. By the way, I'm sick of hearing it's a court. There is no court. There is no police. It's not a criminal charge. We basically walked on the grass on a private golf course. And we're being put in front of the committee and they want us to explain ourselves. A lot more serious than that, but that's we broke the rules in their eyes of a private members club. There was no police. I don't understand where they've got this. I keep hearing about court and police and this, that, and the other. It's like they're non-cooperation. And I've said this 1,000 times. If a policeman knocks on your door and goes, "Can I go upstairs and route through your house?" I've got nothing, no evidence, no nothing. I'm going on what I've been told by my next door neighbour. I'm coming looking around your house. You'd shut the door on them. I'm sick of it. I'd invite them up. I've got nothing to hide. I'd show them. No, you wouldn't. Don't lie. You just wouldn't.
You tell them to do one.
Someone's come in and wander around your house.
No. Listen, Martin.
You're innocent till proven guilty in this country and a lot of other countries. That's another thing we've all forgot.
Yeah, so as it stands right now, we're innocent of everything. But people won't accept that. Listen, it's been an hour and 15 stream. Martin joined us for the last half an hour. Massively appreciate you coming on, Martin, very last minute as well. I'm going to put a link again to the Mancunian Way, Martin's channel, in the chat there. Make sure, guys, you go over to Martin's channel and help him now on the road to 4K. We want to see all the city content creators doing well, getting the views and subscriptions they deserve, because Martin's a fantastic one, clearly very knowledgeable, wise old owl, and we appreciate our wise old owl here on City Extra. Martin, we'll get a panel show going at some stage this week or early next week to look towards that Tottenham game, and hopefully get back to talking about football soon, because it's not a topic, this one, I particularly like, but
no,
we do.
Well, we're not doing that tonight. We're having a night off from FFP tonight.
What are you talking about tonight? What can people
tonight? We're having a mid-season review, and we're also going to talk City's or Pep Guardiola's best City 11.
That's a good one. That's a very good one.
We're trying to get away from this series because we want to have a bit of fun for a couple of hours. Because I think if I hear the word FFP fraud or whatever anymore, I'm going to end up screaming because I'm like, I'm not qualified. I'm not a lawyer or a barrister. What I have read is what I've researched. I've researched and read and spoke with people all about this. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, I can't do justice going into shows and going, and just talking like what I hear on YouTube or I hear on Twitter.
People forget that we got into YouTube content and making this content out of love for football, out of love for talking about football and about our club and about the Premier League and the Champions League, etc. But because of this situation, we've been forced to learn about something that we're not particularly actually interested in. But we appreciate everybody who comes in to engage with us and talk about it with us on a level-headed basis, not the dickheads who tell us you're guilty and you're going to be sent down to Vanarama. Guys, like I said, do go and check out Martin's channel. Great show tonight. I'm going to tune in and watch that myself after the Big Six. I'm looking forward to seeing who you come up with as Pep's best 11, because there's a lot to choose from. Make sure you smash a like on the way out, people. Massively appreciate you all coming in. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and we'll see you tomorrow with some brand new content in a bit. Peace.
Yeah.